Like the title suggests, hi, my name is Howard, and I'm making this video because I want to help you grow on YouTube. And the truth is I have nothing to sell. There's no course, there's no bullshit. There's nothing like that you have to worry about. Like, I literally want to just help you grow on YouTube. And I'm gonna talk about why I want to help you grow on YouTube, because there's a personal reason. And the reason I have a different backdrop up now, because this is actually based on my first recording studio for a channel that is still active, that I still run, that's called the HVAC Dope Show. It was originally created as a way to entertain and educate my customers in a way, in addition to getting more leads and sales. But the reason I'm doing it in front of this today is because I'm gonna actually do a deep dive on that channel, because that was the first channel where I actually had YouTube, quote unquote success, meaning I started to figure out how the algorithm actually worked. And it was in a really difficult niche, because I know some of you watching this, especially if you're not homeowners, probably don't even know what HVAC is. I know I didn't until I actually went into the industry, which was a little over 10 years ago. And just to give you some background, that's heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. So air conditioning equipment or duct work that goes through your house, things like that, that's what HVAC is. And the reason I started that channel was really to get more leads, to build brand, and to differentiate myself from the competition. And when I embarked on the journey, I had a lot of the same questions, and not just questions, but I had a lot of the same problems and a lot of the emotional journey that I feel like a lot of people who are starting a YouTube channel today, you kind of have to go through the emotional journey on YouTube. And it's the thing that's talked about the least because it's the most vulnerable. So I'm going to talk about that a lot. And then I'm going to show you like recent videos I've had that I put out on that channel that are successful, why they're successful, and like how to reverse engineer, a successful video. But I'm also going to show you the videos that failed and why they failed. And it was literally years where my channel sat at less than 1,000 subscribers because I didn't know how to grow. I was also busy running a business, and so it wasn't an easy thing to do. And in terms of like fitting in time to like record videos, and also I was figuring out content strategy. I was listening to guys like Gary Vee, who I respect tremendously. I was watching what he was doing, and I was trying to apply it to my own videos, and it wasn't exactly working out how I had planned. And for me, the biggest thing I got out of growing on YouTube, and this is the thing that when I say why I want to help you grow on YouTube, the truth is that for me, the biggest gift or the biggest growth opportunity, subscribers, a channel, growing your business, making more money, all that stuff is great. But the biggest thing is getting to a point where you actually don't give a what other people think about you. And what I mean by that is, of course, I still care what other people think about me, but it's not the end all be all, meaning like if there's a negative comment, it's not gonna paralyze me, prevent me from uploading more videos. Because by going through this process of growing on YouTube, I actually had to face my own demons. I had to go through, my own insecurities about whether it's how I talk or how I look, all the things that other people might think about. And those aren't really the things that I was self-conscious about. For me, it was really just the process of putting myself out there in a niche that is especially technical. And I don't want to say I'm not the most technical person. I'm a licensed mechanical contractor in 3 states, technically Texas, Arizona, and Colorado. So I know a thing or two about HVAC, but you can be licensed and not, there are people like not half, but maybe 10% of the employees that I've hired are actually more skilled than me in HVAC, in the sense of like, I've hired people with 20 years plus experience who teach me about HVAC, yet they were, employees or worked for me. So I wasn't the smartest one at the company in terms of from a technical perspective as it relates to HVAC, but I still know a lot about HVAC, obviously, because I ran a company. I would run warranty calls and troubleshoot things when other guys were out of ideas. And so I had to be a resource. So obviously I know a few things about HVAC, but there's a lot that goes into it. And it's so complicated that I remember being insecure about that, especially when I first started posting, because my first videos in the trade were actually in 2018. And I had literally been in the trades for basically 3 to 4 years, when some people, they don't even start their own business until they're maybe in the trades for 10 years or longer before they make that jump. And so at that time, I definitely wasn't the most qualified. So I didn't really know not only how to approach the content, but I was a little insecure about my actual knowledge in the niche, even though I was committed to doing the right thing, committed to taking care of customers, committed to doing quality installs, and always improving and being better. But it was a journey. And so in a nutshell, like I said, the biggest thing that if I can give you any gift or anything, it's I want to be as vulnerable as possible and show you my failures and my mistakes that I've made, because there's plenty of people on the internet standing in front of a Lamborghini telling you how they did it, and all you need to do is whip out the Amex for that $49.95, and then you can have all your dreams and desires and a Lamborghini just like them. And the internet doesn't need another guy like that. So I'm not that guy. I'm not going to be standing in front of a Lamborghini. I'm going to be standing in front of my channel, and I'm going to be showing you the things I did right, the things I did okay, and the things I did wrong. And I'm going to actually start by showing you some of my oldest videos that I put up that to this day still don't get views. Will probably never get views. And the reason they'll probably never get views is because they're terrible videos. And they're not terrible videos because, the editing was bad or anything like that. They're terrible videos because they're not what people wanted to watch. They didn't have a good thumbnail, they didn't have a good title, and we'll show you all those things. So that being said, I really want to dive in and I want to show you this particular channel. Like I said, this is the HVAC Dope Show, and I'm going to show you the analytics side of things. And then first off, let me pull. So I have both the public page for the HVAC Dope Show pulled up, and I also have a page or the YouTube Studio version, so I can show you the analytics on individual videos and views. And you can see some of these even recent videos now, they've hardly gotten any views, and I'll talk about why I don't care that they're not getting views, because these particular videos aren't meant to get a lot of views. And I'll talk about how I learned the importance of like having niche topics and where that plays into the algorithm. Because you know, this video has only been out a day and it's got 11,000 views or more. This video's got 21,000, this one's got 53,000, but then I have these other videos, you know, this has only got 642 views. But why do I still want that video on this particular channel? It's because it serves a purpose beyond just getting views and subscribers. It's about actually connecting with customers, and I have keywords like New Jersey contractor. This was an interview of a contractor out of state. We'll talk to that in a second, but what I really want to do first is really go look at my oldest videos. Now, the reason I want to look at my oldest videos is because they're the most telling about why I wasn't growing on YouTube when I first started. And you can see kind of the evolution of what they looked like. So this right here, you can see is my very first episode. It's called the HVAC Dope Show, episode 1, Meet the Owner. Now, the first reason, and if you look at these first few videos and random ones, like this one's got, you know, Film Fest Trip to Cali, 254 views. The reason this has very little views and it will continue to not get any views is because number one, it's called episode 4 of what? And it's called Film Fest Trip to Cali. It has nothing to do with HVAC. The thumbnail's not really interesting. I mean, all this, people don't even know what they're signing up for when they click on that, and so that's why they don't even bother clicking on it. And the reason this video, even though it's one of these earlier ones, got some views, it's, you know, at 23,000 views, is because it says episode 5, the Daikin Fit is dope. Now the Daikin Fit, and we'll pause here for a second. Daikin Fit is important because it's a type of HVAC system. It's a keyword. And what you can see from this articulated in this video is that because even though this video had terrible thumbnail, there's no thumbnail here, it's just, you know, picture of me or so from the actual video, because there's not a lot of content on the internet about that specific topic, specifically the Daikin Fit, that video actually ranks and shows up anytime someone searches the Daikin Fit. Now since I've created other videos about the Daikin Fit that rank and do well, or, you know, I've gotten more views. Like this one was the first time I started learning about creating custom thumbnails, and just, you can see it's not a very good thumbnail, but to this day it's gotten 68,000 views because it's in a very tight niche. There's not a lot of information out there about the Daikin Fit, and so it ranks for that topic, and I talk about things that are important to customers in that. But the reason I want to show you these old videos that I made was when I first started, I didn't know, you know, these were, if we watch these videos without sound, what you'll see is that, and I'll pull one up just so we can watch it without sound and you can see what it actually looks like. And basically they're just they're kind of vloggy style videos, and the bottom line is that it's not something that's going to rank really well or answer a customer's question. Because you have to understand, when people come to YouTube, you're basically offering one of two things. You're either entertaining them or you're educating / informing them. That's basically it. So when someone comes to YouTube, they either are coming to unwind and watch an entertaining piece of content, or they're coming to learn something. Now, my experience around content creation, I have very little experience with creating things that are quote unquote entertaining. Everything's around the context of creating something that's educational. So I'm gonna speak to the things that I know about. If you have more of an entertainment channel that's related to comedy or things like that, I'm not gonna pretend like I know about that, because I don't. I will experiment with those things in the future, and as I learn about them, I will share whatever feedback I have with them. But I didn't know anything, or I don't know anything about those things currently, so I'm not going to pretend like I do. Now, where things started to change for me, honestly, was when I started following other YouTubers, and I'm going to make a video specifically about like some of the YouTubers I followed that really helped me grow on YouTube. But one of them in particular that I want to mention right now is a gentleman by the name of Robert Benjamin. I actually signed up for his coaching program, and it was very helpful because in the beginning, I didn't understand how important a title was, and you can see some of the before and afters of some of these, but I didn't understand how important a title was. I didn't understand how important a thumbnail was. And when you look at, when we go to my homepage here and I pull up all these different videos, you'll start to see that the evolution of my channel, especially as we look at those older original videos, what really started to change was that I understood what you need to do, especially when you're making content, is in order to get a customer to click on a video or to get a viewer to click on a video, you have to understand what's in it for them and why they're clicking on the video. And then the video has to deliver on that, and it has to deliver on it pretty quickly and succinctly. As you can tell from the comment section on YouTube, most people are pretty unforgiving when it comes to your videos. So if you create something that's clickbait and you don't answer the question or you don't stay on topic with those videos, people are going to click away and they're going to tell you that your videos suck, which I've been told very many times. So if you've been told that, don't let it get to you. Just keep posting, because the best thing you can do, and like when I talked earlier about the reason I want to help you grow on YouTube, for me, the emotional journey of going through it and getting to a point where you're stronger emotionally, you don't care what other people think, that's the real gift from growing a YouTube channel, because you get to talk about a topic that you're passionate about. You get to receive criticism that actually, if you listen to criticism, especially when you get it in the comments, you can take that information. And I'm not saying it doesn't sting. There's times, especially if you're having a bad day and you get a negative comment in the comment section, it could rub you the wrong way and you respond nasty, and that's okay. Listen, shit happens. We're all human, and I'm not here to pretend like, you know, I'm some Buddhist monk that's like super level and grounded. I'm a high stress entrepreneur, and so sometimes I don't respond you know, in the friendliest of ways. But my goal, or my ultimate goal on YouTube, is to really transcend and become a person that's more emotionally grounded and is putting out content that people connect with and that people find valuable. And when I get criticism, to really listen to that criticism and use it to try and elevate my content and elevate my videos. And if you can approach YouTube that way, I truly believe that is the gift that you will get from this whole journey. Because, you know, one of the things that I look at from, and I'm going to try and stay focused on YouTube and not get into, you know, societal issues or things that we're facing as a society that are painful. But really, one of the things that is becoming increasingly clear is society is more and more insecure, and we're more and more in this feedback loop of seeking external validation for things we do. Like, we need to feel important, and we need to feel validated by comments or likes or subscribers or vanity metrics that make us feel like we're important or we matter. And as soon as you can get out of that feedback loop, and really, that's what, you know, not caring is about, or not giving a however, you know, whatever language you want to use, that's what that's about. It's not about like being callous or being rude. Like, of course, I'm making content to try and help you grow on YouTube because I care, because I give a because I want to see you succeed. And you might not believe that, and that's okay. You can stick around for a while and you maybe start to see that it's true that I do actually care, because people were there who cared for me. But I want to talk about, like I said, I mentioned Robert Benjamin earlier, and when I show you some of these old videos, I'm going to do a screen share right now on my channel. You can start to see when I started to figure it out, and I'm going to show you my very first viral video. Now, viral is contextual for every single niche, and what a viral video would be for you will be different than a viral video for my niche. And the reason is because HVAC is very niche in the sense that it's specifically for heating and air conditioning. So there's at any given point in time, and it's very seasonal too, in that it's busy in the winter, it's busy in the summer, there's more views in the winter, there's more views in the summer. And so what happens is that by creating a, you know, if I got 100,000 views on a video, which that was my first quote unquote viral video, when all my other videos were getting an average of 100 views or 200 views, maybe no more than 1,000 views ever. And then all of a sudden I get this video out of the blue that starts ranking and gets 100,000 views, and I'll show you which one that was. It started to, one of my favorite quotes is from Tony Robbins, and he says, "Success leaves clues." And I love that quote because when you think about it, when you look at successful people, if you can mirror or match what they're doing in the sense of if they have a formula that works, and it's not about being a copycat, but if someone has figured out how to go to the gym in order to lose weight, and you're someone who wants to lose weight, you can follow that successful person that's done it before you, because, you know, success leaves clues, and they'll tell you, hey, I go to the gym, I do XYZ, and that's how I get this result. And so Robert Benjamin, like I said, his mentoring program helped me a lot, and he broke down the basics of thumbnails, titles, and how to get to the point and stay on point in my videos and make sure that I'm talking about what people are actually interested in my content. And what happened was, you can see this vlog content in the beginning. I was titling things like episodically, meaning like episode 10, episode 11, like no one cares what episode you are. Like, I'm not Joe Rogan. No one's like, oh, let me tune into 2639 today or whatever. They're looking for specific, you know, episodes. That's not the case with most channels. But where things changed for me is you can see right around here where it says, you know, 3 reasons your AC is icing, which is like top 3 reasons why your AC isn't working. Now, this one didn't really do well. You can see to this day, it's only got 121 views. Daikin 1 thermostat, Daikin Fit, what you should know, 25,000 views. You know, this is when I started to make things that were getting, that's not a lot of views over a 2-year period, but it's specifically about the Daikin 1 thermostat. So I rank for that content, that specific niche. And so that was good for my business, because when people had questions about specific types of things, they would find us. Now, the video I'm talking about that quote unquote went viral viral was this video right here called The Truth About High Efficiency Furnaces, HVAC Secret Revealed. And I made this little thumbnail, and it looks like, there's this lady who's on the phone and she's worried and she's calling someone, and it says the truth about high efficiency. And what I learned, or what kind of started to click for me, is that for better or for worse, and it's the thing we love and the thing we hate about YouTube, is that it's kind of sensationalized. And the reason this video did well is because it was not clickbait. And see, when people clicked on that video, they got the truth, as I saw it, about high efficiency furnaces. And I told them about some of the good things about high efficiency. I told them about some of the bad things about high efficiency that maybe aren't always discussed. And when you look at this video, I'm going to click on it now so we can watch a screenshot, and you can see the color is terrible. It's filmed in my, it's like my color's a little bit off. I was using the on-camera mic on this one. I think the mic wasn't connected, so I didn't even have good audio. I mean, it wasn't a very good video, like in terms of the quality. And so when people say, oh, I want to grow on YouTube, but I'm getting a better camera first, or I'm getting a better mic first, or this, that, you don't need any of that stuff. And if you want to look at the mics that I actually use, or any of the gear I use, I post it in the description, and it's all like cheap in my eyes. It's very relatively cheap. Like, these are nice lights, and they're less than 250 bucks right now. The mic I use, this is the Hollyland Mark II. This one, if you can find it, it's like less than $100. There's a newer one, the M2S, is like 150 bucks. But you can get a cheap mic on Amazon for 20, 30 bucks that has decent reviews, and it'll work for your first 100 videos. But you don't need to go out and get, a $3,000 camera and all this crazy gear. Like, that's not going to be the thing that takes your channel to the next level, because this was my first viral video, and it was probably the lowest production quality of any of them, because I didn't have a microphone. I was using the on-camera mic on my iPhone, and it still did well. And the reason it did well was because this was my first time using a script. I used a script that kept me on point, because I used to rant in my videos and not really be on point. And so that script kind of helped me stay on point and talk on specific topics that I wanted to talk about. And it ended up doing really well, but it didn't happen overnight. And so what I want to do is I want to show you some of the analytics on this specific video, because when this one first posted, it got maybe 1,000 views over a few weeks. And this is where you can look at it right here. So when it first posted, in the first, you can see 48 days, it got 1,359 views, right? We keep going, and then all of a sudden, around day, what does this say? Day 86, it was at 5,711. So that was a successful video for me at this time. I'd never had like 6,000 views. But what was about to happen is what changed everything for me, because literally over the course of a few days, it went from 7,000 to, or whatever that number just was on that, what was that? 5,057.11 on December 26th, and it shot up to 52,000 in the course of about a month. And that was quote unquote viral growth. And to this day, it still has steady growth, and it gets more views and I'm going to talk about why it got so many views right there, and what happened for YouTube and the algorithm. But this is a perfect example of why you never delete a video, right? Because what happened is two things. Number one, the algorithm figured out who to show that video to. And number two, winter happened. That was December 26th. It was already really cold, but that was a very particularly cold week. And so I know what was happening, because we deal with it in Denver, especially. Things will get cold, and then all of a sudden everyone's phone was ringing, meaning HVAC companies' phones was ringing, and everyone's furnace is out. And so what happens is people's furnaces are broken, they get recommendations for system replacement, and then people go online and they start doing research. And that's when that video literally, in the course of, it went, a couple weeks, it went up to 40,000 views. That video alone took me past 1,000 subscribers, and it took me past the watch time requirement for 4,000 hours to monetize this channel. That one video alone was what pushed me over the edge over the period of a few weeks with all those views. And then, like I said, to this day, it still gets steady views, but it's lost some of its relevance, because I have other videos about high efficiency on my channel that tend to rank better, but it's still, when people are searching for every possible video they can on the topic, that will show up. Now, the reason I share this with you is because a lot of people, like, one of the best things you can do, and it's not just to make yourself feel better, but it's also to get context, is if you look at like any creators that you look up to, is go back and look at their oldest videos. And the reason you look at their oldest videos, like Mr. Beast has all his old videos up, and it's really cool to see when he was a kid, just, posting and talking to the camera, and how unique they were when he was first starting out. And it's not so much a success formula, but what it is, it's a way to give yourself context so that you understand that it's a process and it's a journey, and you can cut yourself some slack, but also also hold yourself accountable to what actually works and start to improve your content, because you don't want to stay a small creator forever. You want to grow. You got into this to grow. And the reason you got into this to grow is not just for the vanity metrics of more views and subscribers and whatever. It's also because you want to make a bigger impact in your community. You want to build an actual community that you're connecting with. And so that, at least I know that's what it's about for me. And so when we look at some of these newer videos, you can see at the most recent videos that have come out, for example, here's a video that, like I said, I dropped a day ago. It says, "Genius heat pump could change how we heat our homes forever." Now, if we compare that title and that thumbnail, this says 200% output at negative 32 degrees Fahrenheit. If you're not an HVAC nerd or you're not into heat pumps and things like this doesn't mean anything to you. But if you're a homeowner and you've been shopping for heat pumps, that means something to you. And so that's why that title getting 12,000 views over the course of one day has to do with having a good thumbnail, a good title that ties into that, and it piques people's curiosity and gets them to click. But when you compare it to some of these older videos like the HVAC Dope Show episode 1, Meet the Owner, like no one cares. Do you want to meet the owner of what? Of who? Like, you have to understand, people are paying with their time. They're not paying with their money. And so just because, you know, you might think it's important to like introduce yourself like that, it's really not as important as you think. People want to know what value you're going to bring to their life by them watching your video through to fulfillment. So that's really what I wanted to share with you in this video. And one request I have is that I want to make content that is specifically relevant for you and the questions that you are asking or the issues that you're facing. And so right now, if you're in a position where you've maybe stalled out on your channel, or you're growing steadily, or you want feedback, my purpose with this channel, the new channel I'm talking about, not HVAC Dope Show, I'm talking about Play Button Gangster, the channel you're watching right now, is to specifically help people grow on YouTube. And so if you want me to do a channel review, you can post a link to your channel in the comment section. I will review that. Or you can post your specific comments that you have in the channel section. Maybe you haven't even started posting and you have questions about niche or something. But my point is, I want to make this a resource for you that matters, and it's a free resource. There's no, like I said, course. There's no sign up. There's no premium membership, because that's not why I'm creating this. Yes, I can monetize this along the way through affiliate links and other things, which I'll talk, if you're curious about how to monetize a channel in other ways outside of that, or build a business around a channel like I did with my HVAC company. That's specifically what my specialty was, because I figured that out in a way to bring in a lot of leads with a really small channel. And there's lots of creators that have done that. One that I look up to a lot is AJ Osborne on Self Storage Podcast. He has, last time I was following him, I think he had around 25,000 subscribers, but the guy generates massive revenue from that channel with a small subscriber base in a very ultra niche topic where he's talking specifically about storage units and storage facilities. And so I want to make content that's relevant for you, that helps you and helps you on your YouTube growth journey. And so I hope you found this content helpful. If you did, please throw out a like button and consider subscribing for the algorithm. And if you haven't done so already, check out this next video.